This is Stephen Carter with the Texas Cannabis Report. We're at the Marijuana March in Austin. I'm here with mothers advocating medical marijuana for autism, Amy Lou Fawell and Thalia Michelle. I'm sorry about that. I believe that you spoke today. What did you tell the crowd?
I just told them that it is time for medical marijuana to come for our kids' sake, and that there's too many people that are afraid of the law, and it's time to take away that fear and pass these bills.
So what can y'all tell us about the organization that y'all run? What have y'all been doing here lately?
Well, the latest thing we've been doing is speaking at the rallies. I spoke at Houston, and of course Amy spoke today, and before that, obviously, testifying at the hearings. Our focus was more on 837 because none of the medical marijuana bills include autism as a qualifying condition. So the only bill that would really directly help us or impact us for our kids was 837, which is the affirmative defense bill. Of course, we just want to see change in Texas, so we're in support of all medical marijuana legislation. But in terms of an active focus, 837 has been where our hearts are. We are thrilled that Dave Simpson's bill 2165 made it out of committee. We think that's great. That indicates some really positive change, and just building relationships with legislators. Still, it's amazing to me the relationships that have been built, and I think now our focus is going to start shifting over to 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens in between this legislative session and elections next year and the next legislative session?
Well, we're going to form a coalition with other medical groups, and our goal with that will be to promote medical marijuana. Like Thalia said, any step forward is welcome, but as far as autism goes, a major focus is going to be to get autism as a qualifying condition in Texas and in any other states that we can help promote that, because there's not a single state in this country that has autism as a qualifying condition.
So how would medical marijuana help someone with autism?
Well, there are two components to that. First of all, one has to understand what autism is. Autism is a behavioral diagnosis, but there are several comorbid conditions that many children with autism share and that we believe result in these behavior-like symptoms. So for instance, many of the kids have gastrointestinal disorders. Many of the kids also have seizures. All of them pretty much have social impairments and developmental delays, but we believe that things like the gut and inflammation, allergies, immune system, all these things could be contributing to these developmental delays. Dr. Jeffrey Bradstreet came out with a paper. It was about CBD, but he linked autism to a deficiency in the endocannabinoid system. So if the endocannabinoid system is deficient, that could result in immune dysfunction, which could result in some of these other comorbid conditions. So it makes sense that treating the deficiency with cannabinoids, whether it be CBD or THC or some kind of combination of those, could result in alleviating and ameliorating some of these other issues that the kids have. And ultimately, we've heard of kids in their 20s saying their first words now on THC, THCA, CBD, tinctures, oils, juices. And the anecdotal evidence coming out of California, Colorado, even on the East Coast where there's medical states that are treating different disorders, the anecdotal stuff we hear all the time, it's miraculous.
When people picture medical marijuana for children, a lot of people think, so you're going to let your kid walk around the house smoking a joint. What would you say to people like that?
That's not even a realistic concept to get a child with autism or epilepsy to be able to smoke a joint. So basically there are several types of administration for medical marijuana, from oils, tinctures. Transdermal patches are great because they regulate the dose so correctly, and also they can, if you have a patch on for 12 hours, you're getting a dose consistent for 12 hours, which is really good for children with seizures who have seizures overnight. So it's just not even realistic, and we're not against smoking for people that need it. I think that cancer patients and AIDS patients typically smoke. We have no problem with that. If the legislation decides that they don't want it, we do think there's other ways that everybody can get their needs met, though.
I want to tag on to that too. We are trying to be clear that what we're advocating for here isn't, smoking a joint. What we're advocating for here is consistent, measured dosing for children and patients who need doctor supervision with consistent measured dosing to treat severe chronic illnesses here. This isn't, I think the old perception is that smoking for nausea and pain, and that's great if that's what some patients need, but that's not what we're advocating for with our kids at all.
Okay, well, if anyone wanted to get in contact with your group, how would they go about doing that?
Well, we have a website, texasmama.org, but we're more active on Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/TexasMamas with an S, and just private message us through there, and we can get back to them.
All right, well, thank you both.
Thank you. Awesome.